Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Neural Baseball Podcast. I'm Lewis. As you can see, it's just me here today, giving you guys a little bit of a news update. Alex is unable to make it to today's recording, and we both agreed that we did want to put out a little bit of a news episode. Oh, excuse me, hit the arm here. A little bit of a news episode prior to the winter meeting starting. So I'm just going to be giving you guys a little bit of updates on what's been going on around baseball. Nothing too crazy. Won't be talking about any rumors or anything. Save that for when Alex and I are together, which should be the next episode. I almost want to guarantee it. But let's just get right into it. First and foremost, if anyone has been paying attention, the Mariners have made a trade with the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Mariners have sent away Eugenio Suarez for catcher Sevy Zavala and right-handed pitcher Carlos Vargas. Vargas? One of the two. Amazing trade for the Diamondbacks. Let's just give Diamondbacks a round of applause. Good job, D-backs. Could not be more happy with them making this trade. Yes, Eugenio Suarez, big strikeout guy, led all of the American League last year in strikeouts with 214, but still hit 232, 101 OPS plus, played in all 162 games, and honestly provides a good, I don't want to say great, but a good defense over there at the hot corner at third base. We knew the Diamondbacks needed that, and I'm very happy to say that they finally got one. If you look to the other side, though, you look at the Mariners and you think, what are they doing? They just missed the wild card. Yes, not winning the division, excuse me. They just missed the wild card by one game, basically, had they not had a big skid at the end of the season. But what are you going to do about that? And now they're shedding payroll and getting rid of a key piece in their lineup last year. Like, yes, he batted 232 and didn't look perfect at the plate, but you're still trading away 22 home runs and 96 RBIs. Weird move for the Mariners going into this. I do think that this is them just shedding payroll, which I would not understand why they're doing that when it doesn't seem like they're too expensive right now. I definitely wonder if this is because they make plans in the future of going for bigger fish, i.e. Shohei Ohtani or Yamamoto. But I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if they have the money to do that or if they're even honestly going to want to do that. The Mariners are in this weird state of limbo right now where they've missed the playoffs by a few games the last couple of years, last year being one game, literally. And now are they like throwing in the towel? Obviously you can't with that Julio Rodriguez contract and signing Luis Castillo to that big deal. And Mariners fans, they are everywhere and they absolutely love their team. And they were saying it, that they just don't know what's going on with their team right now. I do worry that the Mariners were like, hey, we had 2 years of competing or 3 years of competing. We're going to throw them in the towel now. It's not worth it for us to hang everyone around and hope to God that somehow we can get into a wild card spot because the Rangers just won a World Series and the Astros have shown that they don't want to give up the division, i.e. why they've won it the last, 6 years in a row. Interesting trade. Definitely think that the Diamondbacks won the trade more than the Mariners won the trade. You can say that shedding payroll is a big deal for the smaller market teams. No reason in hell why you give up a key piece in your lineup just to shed a little bit of payroll. It's not like he was making that much money. Let me take a look here. Eugenio Suarez was only making 7 years on a $66 million contract. Let's do the math really quick. Pull out the old calculator. If you do 66 divided by 7, $9.5 million. We're seriously trading away $9.5 million, Mariners fans. Bad luck. Don't really agree with what their ownership is doing and definitely should be thinking about keeping around that $9 million because let's be real, it probably would mean a lot more to fans if you kept Eugenio Suarez around. I think after next season, he has an option. You could have very easily approached him to say, hey, can we work out a deal where you don't take the option? Actually, it's a team option. They could have just declined his option after this season and kept him around to help compete and help the team win. but I guess they didn't want to. I don't know why. I really hope that this is part of a bigger plan for the Mariners, because if it's not, then man, are you in a lot of trouble. One team, however, that's not in a lot of trouble, great transition by the way, is the Milwaukee Brewers. Now you can say that, oh, like, they're losing players, it looks like they might go into a rebuild. However, even if they do go into a rebuild, there's one player that they're going to have around for quite some time. And his name is Jackson Chourio, or Chourio. I'm not sure how you exactly pronounce it, but oh my God, this guy is the real deal. He is the number 2 overall prospect in all of baseball last season. Obviously, the season's rankings have not come out yet. And the Brewers decided to give him an 8-year, $80 million contract. Mind you, Jackson Chorizo, excuse me, Jackson Chourio has not played more than 6 games over the AA level of baseball. If you're giving that type of money to a prospect, you gotta believe in him. Oh my God, this is really bad. Jackson Chourio is going to be around in the Brewers organization for a while. I could not be more happy about that. I was lucky enough myself to get to watch him live, and he looked like the best player on the field by a long shot. Could not believe it, honestly. 286 career hitter throughout the minor leagues with an 837 OPS kind of speaks for itself. Yes, the numbers are a little bit low to say, like, hey, this is our cornerstone franchise piece moving forward. But for a rebuild, to have him on this short contract where once he comes up to the majors, which, I mean, if they're giving that type of money out, it should be this season coming up in 2024. If you're giving out that type of money and you believe in this guy to have superstar potential, then guess what? It's an absolutely blockbuster deal. It's a great deal, sort of similar to that Acuna deal that he signed when he was 21 years old, and everyone looks at it and is like, oh my God, he's underpaid now. Brewers, I guess, are just trying to do the same thing with Jackson Chourio. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. As of right now, I believe they have him listed as just a center fielder. However, they did experiment with him and put him at second base from time to time, which is interesting. I wonder if their plan is to have him in the outfield. I definitely think that his most value would come from the outfield. One, he is a great defender, and two, those guys make up for just a lot of power. We see it everywhere throughout baseball. All of the best power hitters in baseball, Ronald Acuna, Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, like, these are outfielders that, honestly, if the Brewers are believing in Jackson Chourio, I do think that they're comparing him to these guys and saying, hey, we can get him on a very team-friendly deal right now. Let's not wait one season when then he's going to come to us and ask $25 million a season. Give him $10 million a season, and guess what? He will be starting opening day for us, which I hope is the case. Should be 20 years old at the time of the 2024 season rolling around. Looking forward to seeing what he can do and how he can produce. Congratulations to Jackson Chourio and all of his family. I mean, that is life-changing money. Let's not get that one twisted. Obviously not the podcast to be talking about that. But still, a massive amount of money. Hopefully one day we will be here, both Alex and myself will be here saying, oh my God, he's underpaid for what he does, because, man, he has the potential to be just that type of guy. Really looking forward to seeing what the Brewers plan on doing now, with knowing their number 1 prospect, the number 2 prospect in all of baseball, is locked up and secure in Milwaukee for the next 8 seasons. I do think that this means they're going to try to hit that rebuild button, that reset button, and hope that they get, 4-5 years out of a competent Brewers team that is led by Jackson Chourio. Definitely, they're going to be talking in trades a bunch. The winter meetings should be a very exciting place for the Brewers to be, because they have the ability, if they want to try to say, hey, one last ride with Corbin Burnes, who's a free agent after this season, they can say that. If they feel as if, hey, let's start our rebuild right now, let's wait 2-3 years and try to be competitive again, they can also do that, because guess what? Jackson Chourio is not going anywhere. We know that he will be a Brewer for the next 8 years. Obviously, I don't know if there's a what's it called? If there's a trade clause, no trade clause, excuse me, on that contract, but even if there is, the Brewers are not going to move him. $10 million a season is a very, very good underpay in the long run if Jackson Chourio pans out the way that the Brewers and a lot of the baseball world expect him to. Moving on to another team in the NL Central that has made some decent moves, interesting moves, but have also spent a lot of money, is the St. Louis Cardinals. Sonny Gray is now a St. Louis Cardinal. He signs a 3-year, $75 million deal. $75 million to Sonny Gray, who I believe is, 34 years old as of right now? Yeah, he's going to be 34 going into next season. Wow. Good move, I will say, from the St. Louis Cardinals. I do have to applaud them, Sonny Gray has mentioned plenty of times during his introductory press conference. In his introductory press conference, he did mention plenty of times, hey, the St. Louis Cardinals was where I wanted to be. He said that he had spoken to Adam Wainwright, who he looks up to and takes very well towards, and I think that was a big part in it. But great signing. Honestly, you get the not MVP runner-up. You get the Cy Young runner-up in the American League to come over to the Cardinals, which we had said it all season. It wasn't their lineup. Yes, it was their lineup that was really struggling and not helping. However, it was more of their pitching that really, really sucked. Yes, you did have Adam Wainwright there, but not like he was prime Waino last year of his career type of guy. Looking forward to seeing what he can do with the Cardinals. I hope that they're going to be more competitive, especially with the NL Central. It feels like a new team can come out there and win the Central Division every year. Excuse me. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of this. Will we see Sonny Gray go into this ballpark and pitch in this NL Central and succeed? I think after last season having a 2.79 ERA over 184 innings pitched, if you're the Cardinals, you have to say, hey, he's going to repeat that because there's no world where he can't. In order for the Cardinals to succeed, they need Sonny Gray to have the Cy Young caliber season that he just had again, if not even better. Let's be real. I do think that he could do it. I believe a lot in Sonny Gray. I think that he's come a long way as a pitcher. And yes, it might have taken him more time than other players who have been around the league for as long as he has. As of right now, it's been 11 years for him at the MLB level. First with Oakland, then the Yankees, and Cincinnati, then the Twins, and now guess what? He's part of the Cardinals organization, and I think he's going to find his way. He's going to get it done the only way that he knows how to get it done. And he rounds out this rotation that I think that now the Cardinals are done in terms of spending money on pitchers. They'll probably look more towards getting a bat or two that would help them out more. However, like I said, not really a conversation for this episode because it is just a solo episode. We would like to have Alex here when we speak about that sort of thing. I do hope in my heart of hearts that Sonny Gray just, 30, 33, 32, 31 starts, sub 3 ERA, just shove. Sonny Gray can shove. He's shown that plenty of times. There's a reason why he was the runner-up to Cy Young last year. I really think that he's a great pitcher, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the Cardinals uniform. However, there is a world where I also could see it, I don't want to say going south, but it doesn't look like Cy Young runner-up stuff from him. Definitely, knock on wood, Sonny Gray, please succeed in the Cardinals organization. Right now, they need it. They need pitching desperately at their MLB level. Please, I'm begging you, man, do as much as you can and make sure that you succeed with that team. Another pitcher that signed, as a matter of fact, was Kenta Maeda. Kenta Maeda signed away from the Twins as well. And guess where he went, guys? He went to the AL Central. Stayed there. However, he went a little bit north. Went to Michigan. He signed a 2-year, $24 million deal with the Tigers of all teams. Crazy trade. Not trade, excuse me. Crazy signing. I guess good for Kenta Maeda, kind of a last ride thing, considering that he came over to the MLB when he was 28 years old. Started with the Dodgers, then went to the Twins, and I believe in 2022 he had an arm injury, which was Tommy John, and sat out. And guess what? He came back this year at 35 years old in the year 2023. Well, in the 2023 season, excuse me, over 21 starts. Well, 21 games, 20 starts. Excuse me. 104.1 innings pitched, looked pretty good. ERA plus of 102 with an ERA sitting at 4.23, which honestly is not that bad. Could have been a lot worse in today's run environment. Yes, you can say, hey, well, it's the AL Central. Not every team is a powerhouse mash type of lineup, but still, it's the MLB. They had to play every team this season, and I think, honestly, Kenta Maeda did a very good job at times handling his opponents. Him signing with the Tigers, just a 2-year deal. I do think that it's more of, hey, we need people to just eat innings. We need people to just get us through games, because right now I think it's pretty consensus the Tigers are not going anywhere anytime soon, barring, of course, that 29 other teams say, hey, we're going to field our single A roster, in which case I would think that the Tigers have a pretty good shot. Not sure if they would 100% win the whole thing, but Tigers, man, good signing. Kenta Maeda should provide some fun stuff, as well as their new announcer. I forget his name off the top of my head. Came from the Chicago White Sox, but between them two, pretty good offseason so far if you're a Detroit Tigers fan. Kenta Maeda, honestly, I don't want to say he'll be the number one starter, because obviously, Eduardo Rodriguez could sign back for more security. However, it could be worse. One of those type of things. That's the way that I'm going to look at it. I really hope that we just see Kenta Maeda pitch. That's all that matters to me. I just hope that he pitches. Moving on to another guy who I really, really hope pitches well, honestly. Luis Severino. Luis Severino was non-tendered by the Yankees, or, well, I guess he was a free agent. I'm not sure. But Luis Severino decided that, hey, my time in New York is done. I'm going to hit the free agent market and let me see where I can go. And then he stays in New York. Luis Severino signs a deal with the Crosstown Mets after leaving the Yankees. Last season, Luis Severino was not a good pitcher, which, heartbreaking to say, the little Yankee fan that's left inside of me, really hurts my heart to say that. However, I think it's fair to say Luis Severino was not the pitcher that we knew him to be long ago. In 2023, over 18 starts and 81.1 innings pitched, he had a 6.65 ERA. Man, that is just not good. Gave up 113 hits, 23 homers, 79 strikeouts to 34 walks is not a great ratio, considering that at one point, we're talking about a guy who had back-to-back 200 strikeout seasons. I think that this is a Mets signing because Cohen has said it himself plenty of times. He does not want to be competitive in 20. Well, his goal to be competitive. His goal is, excuse me for the stutter here. His goal is to be competitive in 2025, which means 2024 is not really a punt year, but it's more of a development year. Figure out what's going on. My guess is it's probably a last shot for some of these prospects that they've called up, like Brett Beatty and Ronnie Mauricio, those type of guys. It's probably their last shot. I'm wondering if Luis Severino is going to be part of that. If he does have a bounce back season, he's going to be 30 years old going into the 2024 season, and I think if he does have a bounce back year, and I'm not talking, Cy Young contender like he was in 2017 and 2018. I'm just talking solid starter that can get some innings through, maybe 3 ERA, 3.5 ERA. If he can get to that Luis Severino, guess what? They're going to take it. The Mets will gladly re-sign a player like that, probably to, just sit there, eat innings, have some good starts. I don't know if they would make him part of their postseason roster or whatever moving forward. Moving forward, obviously, do excuse me as well. I'm just interested to see what goes on there. Another guy that the Mets also went out and got was Joey Wendle. Joey Wendle, after playing with the Tampa Bay Rays for, what was it? What felt like an eternity. 4 seasons, excuse me. He went in 2022 and signed with the Miami Marlins. And then his numbers really fell off. In 2022, 259 batting average, 658 OPS, 85 OPS plus. Didn't look good, played in 101 games. Stinks because Joey Wendle is was a very, very good player when he was on the field. And then 2023 rolls around. And hey, in 112 games, played more games than in 2022, but did much worse. Much, much worse. Had a 212 batting average, a 554 OPS with a 50 OPS plus. Heartbreaking, right? So what did the Mets say? They say, hey, this guy, going to be 34 years old in the 2024 season, kind of going downhill. Let's give him one last shot. And they signed him to a 1-year, $2 million deal. Not bad, all things considered, but did not think that the Mets would be looking to get Joey Wendle at bats in this upcoming season. But hey, here we are. I do think that this is more of just filler. If someone does get hurt, knock on wood, of course, that does not happen. But also just to have a little bit of a mentor. Guy's been a utility guy moving around the infield a lot for his entire career. And I think that maybe some of the younger Mets like Brett Beatty and Ronnie Mauricio, again, bringing them up, can really benefit from having an older guy who knows what he's talking about a little bit more in the defensive side of the ball, because I do think that these rookies, I guess they're both rookies still. Maybe. Beatty might not be, whatever. But I do think that the younger guys do have the better bat talent because, it's hard to be worse than 212 batting average. Of course, very basic stat, but hard to be worse than a 50 OPS plus as well. Looking forward to seeing what his role will be. I really do hope that he just turns into this really big clubhouse guy and everyone's like, we get to see, I don't know, Pete Alonso hit a walk-off homer, and in the post-game press conference, he's like, yeah, man, I was standing in the on-deck circle, and Joey Wendle called me over and was like, hey, man, watch for the slider with one strike. He likes to throw it with one strike, and that's why he hits the ball over the fence. I'd love to see Joey Wendle turn into that type of guy. That would be absolutely legendary. Another legendary sort of story that started up last season, as a matter of fact, has been the Cincinnati Reds. The Cincinnati Reds have come out of the gate and really became America's team since, midway through the 2023 season. Part of it was obviously calling up the freak athlete of Ellie De La Cruz, obviously Spencer Steer, and having just a bunch of young guys who really knew how to, I don't want to say play the game the right way, but definitely go about a winning mentality. And they really took it, had a few games gone their way, we would have been talking about them making the final wild card spot and not the Arizona Diamondbacks, who, by the way, made it to the World Series. Could the Reds have done the same if they made it? I don't know, but, we'll never know. That's the beauty of the sport. The Reds decided to go out and get some pitching help. They signed relief pitcher Emmanuel Pagan to a 2-year, $16 million deal, which, by the way, at the time made him the highest paid player per year on the Reds, which goes to show you how young they are. And, oh my God, that's pretty freaking cool. Last season with the Twins, he had a sub-3 ERA. Sure, it was a 2.99 ERA, but guess what? That's a sub-3 ERA in 66 games appeared in, I guess, or appearances. 69.1 innings, nice, as well as 65 strikeouts, 21 walks, and an ERA plus of 144. Pretty solid signing by the Reds. Obviously, a big thing with them is that, hey, our hitting's going to be there. We're going to develop our young guys on the offensive side of the ball, but we do need pitching, and part of that pitching, obviously, comes in the bullpen. I think pretty solid. It's just a 2-year deal. Hopefully they can make something out of it. I do think that this will be one of those signings that we look at midway through the year and be like, it's really benefiting the Reds to have an older, more well-rounded reliever that can help control Alexis Diaz, as well as whoever else the Reds decide to have in their bullpen, because I'm going to be honest, I do not know the Reds bullpen off the top of my head right now. And the Reds also decided, hey, if we got a relief pitcher, let's go get a starting pitcher as well. And they went out and got Nick Martinez on a 2-year, $26 million deal. Another just very, very good signing. Nick Martinez has shown at times, by the way, nothing crazy, but he has shown at times that he can be the guy that you need. Last year, you're talking about a guy who, yes, appeared in 63 games and only started 9 of them, but still, I can imagine that they will give him a shot, sort of like how Seth Lugo got a shot last year to be a starter after being in the bullpen for so long. You're talking about a guy who last year had 110.1 innings thrown and a 3.43 ERA. That's not bad. Obviously, for both of these pitchers, you do have to remember they are going into one of the most hitter-friendly parts in all of baseball in Great American Field. Is that what it's called? I don't know. But they're going into Cincinnati, where we know the ball travels well. The ball gets hit a lot farther, a lot harder. I don't know why. I guess it's windy or something like that. And I hope that the Reds are able to just use these more veteran players, these guys who have been around the league a little bit, and say, hey, we're keeping these guys around because we want our young guys to learn from them, as well as we need the innings, we need the moments when maybe it's not the best idea to bring them in, but it's the right idea because these guys are veterans. They've been around a little bit longer. They might know what they're doing a little bit more. And speaking of veterans staying around with their team, the last thing that I'm going to get to here right before I get out of here, just, quick news episode here, is Jason Heyward. Jason Heyward decides that, hey, I really succeeded in LA last season. There's no reason as to why I should not re-sign. He signs a 1-year, $9 million deal to stay with the Los Angeles Dodgers into his age 34 season. Last season in 2023, he had a complete resurgence, batting .269, 117 OPS plus. Figured out how to work his walks a little bit more, going up from 11 walks in 2022 to 34 walks in 2023, which not a big jump, but if you watched 2021, 2022 Jason Heyward, you saw how much he really swung the bat and took weak contact rather than taking a walk, which stinks. But guess what? The Dodgers were able to fix him. 813 OPS looks very good over the course of 124 games. And there were moments when, guess what? The Dodgers used him as the spark plug. He was genuinely, at times, the spark plug for the Los Angeles Dodgers, which, hey, if you go back a couple of years and tell people that Jason Heyward will change the outcome of wins and losses for the Los Angeles Dodgers, everyone will be like, oh, well, yeah, they'll be playing the Cubs and he'll drop a ball like Seiya Suzuki. There we go. Got another mention of it. Seiya Suzuki did drop that baseball in Atlanta. Had to mention that, but of course. I am interested to see if this is the only big-time move that the Dodgers make, because there are a lot of free agents out there that the Dodgers have been linked to since last offseason. I do hope, though, in all honesty, that Jason Heyward is able to repeat the success that he did get from the 2023 season, carry it right over into 2024, because from what I've heard and heard from him, he loves being in LA. He loves the support system that they have there and the process that they have there, and they love having him around. Mookie Betts on his podcast had said plenty of times, even with Jason Heyward on the team, that they just love hanging around him. Freddie Freeman also said that he loves hanging around Jason Heyward, and I can imagine that that's for most of the guys, because Jason Heyward seems like just a really genuine dude who wants to go out there and play the best brand of baseball possible. And if the way that he gets that done is in LA, guess what? That's a great, great, great re-signing for both sides. $9 million, not that bad of a contract. The Dodgers can definitely afford that. It feels like they have unlimited money at times. So what's $9 million to them? Am I right? Anyways, guys, that's all that it's going to be for today. Just a quick little news update for you guys. Half-hour episode. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Let me know what you guys think about all the signings. And honestly, the next episode should be all about the winter meeting. So definitely, guys, stay tuned. Lock in. This is the most exciting part of the offseason. Let's get right into it. All right. Thank you guys again so much for watching. You guys know where to find us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, on any podcast app. Share it with your friends and let them know, hey, a new episode of the Normal Baseball Podcast just dropped. Go give it a listen. Thank you, guys. Peace.